What's good, my fellow soloists? The Soloist, bringing you another Monster Hunter World video. Last week I made a top 3 most appealing weapon sets in Monster Hunter World. I thought it would only be fitting if I made a top 3 worst weapon sets, or at least appealing weapon sets in Monster Hunter World. Now, when I say worst, it doesn't necessarily mean these weapons would put you at a disadvantage if you use them. It's strictly opinion based. It means that these 3 weapons that I've chosen, I don't think I would personally use. Again, it is a new game, so I will try it out. I am paying for the game after all, and so experiencing everything I can would be my best interest, as it would be for you as well. However, I do think these 3 weapons, based off the selection of weapons that you could possibly use, I think these 3 right here that I'm going to list off are the ones least going to be used by myself and other hunters alike. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Top 3 weapon sets that are least appealing in Monster Hunter World. So coming in at number 3, we have the lance. Not the gun lance, the regular classic lance that we've been using for many games now. And I think you understand what I'm saying. The lance is a good weapon. It was one of my favorite weapons when I was playing Monster Hunter Tri. However, there's so many more weapons you can use, and again, you even have the gun lance, which is the main reason why I believe, the regular classic lance won't be used as much in Monster Hunter World. For the simple fact that we have a weapon that can do pretty much the same thing. It is still a lance. However, you have a gun attached to it. Again, for me personally, I like, as I talked about in past videos, I like the technicality of the gun lance for the fact that, you're able to switch between using the gun and switching it and using the lance. You can still attack and be on the front lines. However, you can back up and still be just effective in a hunt, giving damage to the monster at the time that you are fighting it. So I like that ability, and I think many other people would much rather have a gun attached to their lance versus just a regular classic old lance. It really doesn't get any simpler than that. So that's the reason why this is on my list, coming in at number 3. At number 2, we have the hammer. Now, the hammer has been in this game for quite some time. It was there in Monster Hunter Tri, and I believe it was there even before that game as well. It's one of the classic Monster Hunter weapons, and that is the first reason why I believe most hunters won't want to use it, for the simple fact that it has been in the game for quite some time now. The second reason why I believe this weapon won't be used, mainly on my part, is for the fact that it's rigid in movement. You can't get a lot of hits off, especially when you're fighting bigger, more agile monsters. How would you feel in the middle of a hunt where you see people using the insect glaive, for instance, flying around, hitting the item, or using the dual blades, hitting the monster millions of times, and you have to run around with this heavy item, dodge the monster the whole time, only to finish the hunt with hitting him like 20 times in like a 20-minute hunt? Would you feel like you contributed a lot to it? I don't know, but personally, I just think many people would much rather, give a lot more hits, or even use something like the big sword, or great sword, I should say. One, it looks better on your character. It just really does, standing out, especially when you get some of the more unique great swords out there. And 2, when you hit a monster with the great sword, it just feels as if you're giving more damage. It just feels like you're being a lot more effective than what I think many people use for the hammer. Now, that's not to say the hammer would not be seen at all. I definitely don't believe that. I do believe some people will stay true to the hammer, and again, some of the newcomers will use it. But for the most part, I do believe it's going to be one of the rarer weapons that people end up using. Finally, we have the sword and shield. This takes Top Gun for the least appealing weapon set in Monster Hunter. It is the one that we usually start off with, not only in Monster Hunter, but in every single game, the RPG game you can ever think of. The sword and shield is the classic of all classics, and for that reason, why would you stay with the classic sword or the classic sword and shield when you have so many options you can choose from? I don't think I have to really explain this one. I think many people just understand that they wouldn't want to use the sword and shield, especially after seeing some of the other trailers with much better, much more appealing weapon sets. So I'll leave it at that. That is my top 3 worst, or least appealing weapon sets in Monster Hunter World. If you want to see what I believe to be the most appealing weapon sets so far out of all the trailers, definitely check out the video. It will be right there, somewhere around there, so go ahead and click on that. I am the Soloist. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, there's a lot more to come. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys later.